Guys, we all know the upper class people, and we all know the middle class people. But did you know about the useless class? Yes, it's a new group of people that you or your kid may be part of. Trust me, this video is worth your time. I learned about it by reading this book. Let me explain. See, in the world, 90% of people that can work have a job. And based on how much the job pays, they are in one of three classes: upper, middle, or lower class. But in the future, a lot of our jobs will simply disappear. For example, take the taxi. Right now, we have millions of taxi drivers, but most cars in the future will drive themselves, just like this Tesla.
No, you don't need to do anything.
No speed, no speed.
If you want to go,
yes!
It's self-driving!
No hands!
No hands!
But I gotta pay
Mom,
attention.
No hands.
And because of this technology, at some point, we will not need a human to drive this car. It's much safer for a robot to do it. And this is how millions of taxi drivers will be out of a job. And you didn't hear that from me, you heard it from the author himself.
Hi, my name is Yuval Noah Harari, and I wrote the book 21 Lessons for the 21st Century. Every year, about 1.3 million people die in traffic accidents around the world. Autonomous vehicles might end up cutting that number to nearly zero.
Travel agents, McDonald's staff, or even airport check-in staff will also be out of a job. In other words, we will have so many humans and not enough jobs to give them. Machines are taking over, and if you don't know how to code, it's gonna be really hard to get another job. So millions of people will be unemployed and unemployable. This sounds depressing, but please hear me out. We build machines not to make life harder, but to make it easier. And when machines do all the work for us, we can spend time doing what we love: traveling, creating, and building families. But the real question is, when you don't have a job, how do you make money? Well, this is the difficult part. If you trust your government to take care of you, then you have nothing to worry. In the future, the government will give you a universal basic income so you can live comfortably forever. The useless class will just have fun. If you don't trust your government, then you better learn how to code or how to make videos fast so you can get a job in the future, because there is a risk that you will be unemployed, unemployable, and broke. This is a future no one wants to see. I think you get it by now. The glass is half full, half empty. But the idea is very exciting. In the future, humans will not need to do boring work for money. They will only work for fun. They will create music, they will create videos, friendships, and families. The useless class will have the most fun. Let the robots do the work and let us do the living.
Hey guys, good afternoon. My name is Warren. And I'm here today to, talk to you about the career choices that you can make after your 12th. Right now, you are at the most important phase in your life, right? Because after your 12th, you have to start deciding what you want to study, what you want to become in your future, right? So, which is why right now you are at the most important phase in your life, and I am here to help you navigate that, to help you make better decisions. I'm not doing this because I know everything. I'm not doing this because I am an expert. I'm doing this because I have trodden the same path where you are right now. Right? I've been in my 12th, I've been confused, there was nobody to guide me when I was in my 12 to tell me, you know, you have to do this to become this, you can do this to become that. What I was told was that, you know, study hard, become somebody in life. You have to study hard, become somebody in life. That was the only advice I got, and because of which I made a lot of wrong decisions and wrong choices in my life, right? So I've gone through that path, and I've realized the consequences of such decisions and the consequences of good decisions as well. So because of my experiences, because of having gone through this path, I just want to advise you to help you make better decisions in your life. So that's why I'm here. Before I go on to talk to you about such things, I want to introduce myself first. I want to just tell a bit about myself so that you can relate with me better, right? So my name is Warren, and I am from Manipur. This was supposed to happen physically. I was supposed to come to Mon and, you know, talk to you in person and have an interaction with you and, you know, just have this session together with you guys. But unfortunately, because of the pandemic, things have not been looking good, and because of which I have to, you know, just talk to you, record myself talking to you and send this video to you. It's my first time because I've been just speaking live physically, so it's my first time recording myself, so it's a little bit awkward and nervous, but I hope that you will be able to understand and be more knowledgeable after this session. So like I said, my name is Warren and I am from Manipur. Throughout my high school life, I was a fairly good student, right? So after my 10th, I got a good mark, I got a good percentage, and like as it is in most northeastern states, and I'm sure you can relate as well, since I got good marks in my 10th, my parents decided that I should become a doctor, which is why I should take science. I was horrible in science, right? I was bad in science. I preferred humanities, arts, but I couldn't say no, I couldn't rebel against my parents, so I decided, okay, fine, let's do it. So I took up science. I barely scraped through in my 2 years there. I barely scraped through. I finished my 12th, and then since my parents wanted me to be a doctor, I took a year break and went for medical coachings. So I took a year break, I went for medical coachings for 1 year, and midway I realized, no, I can't do this, it's not my cup of tea. I just cannot become a doctor because I hate science. So I decided to quit that, and I decided to do my bachelor's instead. So at that point of time, the reason why my parents wanted me to be a doctor was because, you know, they wanted me to serve the society, give back to the community, help the community, right? So that was the reason why. So now I decided, okay, since I can't achieve that goal through being a doctor, how can I do something else and help the society? At that point of time, one of my friends told me that there's this subject called Bachelor's in Social Work. Why don't you try for that? And I decided, oh, sounds like a good subject, social work. I want to help the community, I want to help the society, so let me study social work, right? So I took up social work. I went to Bangalore, enrolled myself at St. Joseph's College, and I did my undergrad in social work there. After my graduation, like every other social work student, I decided I was going to do my master's in social work, right? So I was going to do that, but at the same time, around the same time, I came across this advertisement that was advertising about this fellowship called the Young India Fellowship. It's one of the most prestigious fellowships in India. I went through the website and I realized that, oh, this is something that I want to do. This is looking quite interesting. So I applied. Luckily, by God's grace, I cleared one round of the other, and after 3 rounds, I cleared the interview, and then I was offered the admission letter. So I accepted that, and I went to Delhi, and I was doing my 1-year postgrad fellowship there at the Young India Fellowship. And it was a completely new environment for me, you know, it was completely out of my comfort zone. After 23 years of living in my own bubble, I was thrown out in a completely different universe, right? So there were 100 of us, they selected 100 students, individuals from all over the country, and I was the only Northeastern tribal kid in that class. And I was super intimidated by my peers because they were all super high achievers from the best of colleges and universities from the country and from across the world. But anyhow, I decided that, you know, I must up my game and I must become somebody out of this. So for 1 year I did that undergrad fellowship, and towards the end of when we were about to graduate from that fellowship, all of my friends started, you know, saying, oh, I got into Oxford, oh, I got into Harvard, I got into the best university. All of them were getting into the best universities of the world. Some of them were being offered prestigious job offers from the best companies and organizations from around the world and around the country. And then it hit me, what about me? Because I hadn't applied to any, I hadn't gotten accepted into any. So I realized, no, there's something wrong with me. I need to really up my game and start applying. You know, at that point of time, going abroad was just an impossible dream, right? It was just an impossible dream because I came from a poor family and my parents could never afford me to send abroad. So I never even thought about it. And like I said before, there were no people to guide me. So they never told me that, oh no, even if you're poor, there's so many scholarships, financial aids that can help you go out and study. Nobody was there. So I just thought it was impossible. But when I saw all my peers getting accepted, getting scholarships, I realized that I must do something. So I started applying, and by God's grace I got accepted at the International Institute of Social Studies in the Netherlands. I was overjoyed, but unfortunately I couldn't get a scholarship and I could not afford to pay the fees. So I deferred my admission to the next year, and I decided that for 1 year I'm going to apply for scholarships. So that's what I did. But at the same time, I didn't want to waste just 1 year applying for scholarships. So I enrolled myself in a university called Jamia Islamia University, and I was simultaneously doing my master's there as well. And I was applying to one after the other. I must have applied to almost 15 to 20 scholarships. I got rejected after I got rejections after rejections, and finally towards the end of my first year there, I got accepted for a scholarship offered by the government of India. So with that scholarship, I went to the Netherlands. I did my master's in peace and conflict studies. I've completed my master's without spending a penny of my own money. The government paid for everything, and then I came back home, and then I started working in India. First of all, I worked with the biggest human rights organization in the world called Amnesty International, and then from then on I moved to a think tank that worked in the sphere of policy, and then from there I moved on to another company that worked in the leadership development sphere, and then after that I moved on to another company that worked in higher education. And then while I was working there, something hit me, you know. I realized something. I was like, you know, I've been so blessed, I've been so privileged, I've been so lucky to have experienced everything that I experienced and to be where I am now. But there are so many people back home who are not as lucky as I am, but who are smarter than me, who are more brilliant than me, but who have not been able to become anything or do anything because there was nobody to guide them, right? So I decided that, you know, I've had enough of working outside for other people, for benefiting other people. I want to come back to my region, to my state, and help my own people. So I resigned from my job in October of last year, 2020, and since November I have started my own NGO called STEP, which stands for Social Transformation and Educational Platform. So what we focus on is to bring quality education to the far-flung villages, to the rural areas of the Northeast. So right now I am the founder and the director of this NGO called STEP, and we work with teachers in the rural areas. We give communication skills training to teachers. We conduct exposure programs for students, where we bring people from different walks of life, from different places around the world, and let them interact with the students there. And I conduct career counselings for students, like how I'm conducting right now, right? So these are the things that my NGO does, and that's a little bit about me. I hope that you could relate to what I said. I hope you could relate to some parts of my story. You know, that the parts where I was confused, didn't know what to do, the parts where I could not afford to go abroad, so I didn't even think about it, the parts where I couldn't take good decisions, wise decisions, because there was nobody to guide me. So which is why I'm here to help you take better decisions in life, right? I'm here to help you make better choices in life, because right now you are at the cusp of the most important phase in your life. I know some of you might be taking science, some of you might be taking arts, some of you might be taking commerce. I don't know if you really enjoy taking these subjects. I don't know if you took these subjects out of your own free will or because, you know, families forced you or your friends forced you. I don't know. But what's done is done, right? What's done is done. You are studying that subject and the future is still awaiting you. And in these times, I'm here to help you take better decisions. So, first of all, let me start off by saying that the one most important factor, the one most important factor that affects all of our Northeastern students is that, you know, we are financially poor. Majority of us are financially poor, so we cannot afford to pay for our higher studies. We cannot afford to go outside of the state or outside of the country to study because we don't have money. And that is a huge drawback because that discourages a lot of people. You know, like in my own case, I never even thought about going abroad because I knew that we couldn't afford it. So likewise, I'm sure a lot of you are facing the same thing. You know, you're in your 12th standard right now, and you might be thinking, I want to go to Delhi, I want to go to Bombay, I want to go to, you know, Shillong to study, but my parents can't afford it, so there's no point in studying. I don't want to study, you know, things like that. So you might be facing the same thing, right? So I'm here to tell you that do not be disheartened, do not be discouraged, because you feel that you don't have the money or your parents can't afford it. Because if you have the will, there is a way. And I'm here to show you the way. You know, there are hundreds of scholarships out there that will enable you to go outside the state, outside the country to study, right? There are hundreds of scholarships, like I said, but in the interest of time, I will just be mentioning 3 scholarships that are out there. And right now, if you go to your mobile phone or your laptop and just type scholarships for undergrad students, scholarships for tribal students, scholarships for ST students, if you type that, hundreds of scholarships will pop out, right? Right now, you all have phones, your parents have phones, you have internet, you use the internet, the phones for watching movies, for playing games, for listening to music. That's great, do it. Use it for your entertainment. But at the same time, use it for your own benefit as well. So, you know, right now, you can just, at this very moment, you can just go to the laptop or your phone and type scholarships. Hundreds of them will pop up. Click on those and see if you're eligible for the scholarships. What are the processes to go through the scholarships, right? So there are hundreds of them. But today, I'll just be talking about the basic 3. So as I was researching to talk about scholarships to you people, I came across these 3 really interesting scholarships which you can apply, right? One of the scholarship is from the government of Croatia, which is a country in Europe. They are offering scholarships to Christian minority students from developing countries, right? So I'll probably be attaching the link in the video towards the end, or you can see the video right now as well, the link. So this scholarship, what does it do is that, what it does is that, you know, if you apply for this scholarship, if you are a Christian, if you are a minority from a developing country, you are eligible to apply for the scholarships. And what this scholarship offers is that it offers you your free flight from India to the country, back and forth. It offers you full scholarship. It pays for your tuition fee, it pays for your admission fee, it pays for your accommodation, it gives you pocket money. So basically everything is paid for, right? So there's this scholarship. Imagine, right now you are at Mon, in one of the farthest districts of Nagaland, bordering Myanmar, and next year you'll be in Europe doing your BA or BSc there, right? So the chances are there. The chances are there. And what you have to do is you have to write an essay, a cover letter. You have to be recommended or referred by your local pastor. And if you get selected, then you'll be eligible to go to Croatia and study, right? Then now there's another scholarship that is offered by the Indonesian government for students from developing countries, including India. It's the same scholarship. If you apply for this, then you'll get a full scholarship to study in Indonesia. They'll pay for your accommodation, they'll pay for your flight, they'll pay for your books, everything, tuition fee, admission fee, everything will be paid off by the government of Indonesia for you to come and study there, right? And there's another scholarship by HDFC Bank, which is India's largest private bank. So what it does is it offers scholarships up to 75,000 per year if you study in India. Imagine, you'll be getting 75,000 a year to study, right? You have to have these are for students. These are for students from the weaker economy, from the weaker sections of the economy in terms of finance. Then you can apply for this as well. So if you Google all of the scholarships, there are. I just spoke about 3 scholarships. There are hundreds of scholarships out there that you can apply. So what I want to leave with you right now is that there are such scholarships out there which will enable you to achieve your dreams, right? Which will enable to achieve your dreams. It's just going to help you. You know, you have a lot of opportunities out there. So don't let your financial condition, don't let your financial situation discourage you from not applying for scholarships, right? Because there are hundreds of them out there. And having spoken about scholarships, having spoken about the possibilities out there, now I want to talk about how to avail these scholarships, right? So one of the main factors is that obviously they look at your academic qualifications. They see how many marks you got in your 10th exams, how many marks you scored in your 12th exams. They will look at your academic achievements as well. But at the same time, a very important factor is your extracurricular achievements. Now, what you do outside of your academics, what you do outside of your school, right? So you could have participated in sports, you could have participated in music, in debate, social cultural activities. Participate in any of this as much as you can, because all of the certificates that you get out of this participation will help you a lot when you apply for scholarships or when you apply for admissions abroad. So even in the scholarships that I mentioned earlier, this kind of certificates, this kind of achievements, they're really going to help you, right? So we have this habit, us tribals have this habit of not wanting to participate in any of this because we are just lazy, or we are laid back, or we don't care, or we are not aware of the importance of such. You have 1 year to prepare, right? You're in your 12th right now, you have 1 year to prepare. Participate in every competition, participate in any kind of activity, participate as much as you can and collect the certificates, because that is going to help you when you apply for scholarships, when you apply for your admissions to universities in India or abroad, right? So to not just make an excuse and say, no, I don't want to participate, that's too much for me. Do not, start from now. Start participating, and this exercises, this experience will really help you when you start applying for scholarships abroad, right? So that is what I want to leave you behind. That is what I want you to understand about the importance of participating in extracurricular activities. At the same time, when you apply for all of these scholarships, when you apply for all of this, unlike entrance exams in India, there are no entrance exams out there. You have to write essays. You have to write essays about your experience. You have to write essays about why you want to study, things like that. Which is why you need to have a good command over English. You need to have a good, storytelling skills in terms of how you write your essay. You have to make your CV, and in order to make your CV, you need to have volunteering experience. So in Mon, you can volunteer in your school, in your church, in your organizations, NGOs in your district. In your free time, volunteer there, get the certificates, have the user experience in your CV, in your essay, and apply for all of this. So then everything will be possible, right? So these are the possibilities that you have. These are the possibilities that you have waiting for you out there. So do not be disheartened, do not be discouraged by the fact that you are poor, your family is poor, that your parents are uneducated. Do not, because everything is possible. If there, like I said before, where there is a will, there is a way. So you can do that, right? So that's a little bit about the scholarship section. Like I said, in the interest of time, I'm just talking about 3 scholarships. There are hundreds of scholarships out there. I researched yesterday. Hundreds of them popped up. So use your free time, use your internet, use your phone for such purposes as well, and that will really help you when you apply, right? So that's a little bit about that now. So right now, let's talk about the careers that are waiting for you out there, right? So if you want to be, let's say, an IAS officer, right? If you want to be the DC of your district, then obviously you have to do your BA, BSc, BCom, or whichever you choose. You have to do that, and then you have to apply, right? So today I will not be dwelling too much on how to become an IAS officer, how to become a doctor, how to become an engineer, because that's common knowledge, right? Everybody knows about this. Everybody, even though people are uneducated, everybody knows about IAS officers, doctors, engineers, so they keep telling you that. So I want to talk about things that people don't talk about much, skills that are required for the 21st century. So before I go there, obviously I'll just talk about becoming an IAS officer as well, because if you want to be an IAS officer, I fully encourage you. If you are determined to do something for your community, for your society, for your state, by becoming an IAS officer, go for it, right? We need many more tribal IAS officers, tribal officers in our state, in our region, in our community. So go for it. You have to study hard. If studying is your passion, you have to study hard and write the exams and pass it. If you want to become a doctor, become an engineer, go for it, right? Because we need as many doctors as possible, as many engineers as possible. So if you want to become a doctor, then you have to, obviously if you're taking science now, only you are eligible to become a doctor. You can't take arts and become a doctor. You can't take commerce and become an engineer, right? You have to be taking science right now to become a doctor or an engineer. Then you have to write the NEET exams or the JEE exams to get into these institutes, right? So if you want to do that, please, by all means, become a doctor, become an engineer, become an IAS officer, because we need more of those in our community, in our society. So go for it, study hard and do well, right? And for those, and why I say this is because, let's say if there are 100 of you right now, not all 100 of you will become IAS officers, not all 100 of you will become doctors, not all 100 of you will become engineers. Because everyone has their own talents, everyone has their own gifts, everyone has their own hidden talents, right? So if you are a brilliant student, if you are a really brilliant, motivated student, then, and if you are interested in becoming either a doctor, engineer or IAS officer, then that's that. Maybe out of the 100 of you, maybe 5-10 of you will become an IAS officer or a doctor or engineer. The rest of you will be doing something else, right? So for the rest of you, I want to let you, just sensitize you, make you aware of the things that are out there, right? The things that are out there. So let's say, in the 21st century now, many big organizations and companies like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, these companies now, they don't even require a degree anymore. They require your skills. You can apply for jobs in these companies, in these organizations, and you can still apply if you didn't have a college degree. But if you have the skills, then you can apply and become employed with them, right? So what I'm trying to say is that if you are not interested in studying, if you're not interested in going to college, that's also fine, because now there are other possibilities for you out there, right? So I'll just talk about a few skills that you can inculcate in order to thrive in the 21st century. Oh no, before that, let me talk about the skills that will be obsolete in the world, right? So at one point of time, I don't know if you can remember, because you are, I don't know, by the time you grew up, those were already extinct. But in my time, there was a time when we watch movies or when we watch news. In order to cover the news, there'll be a helicopter flying around with a video camera guy taking videos of the happenings down there. That was how journalism, that was how news reporting worked almost 10-15 years ago. And now you don't see that at all. Why? Because that has been replaced by drones. So these are drones that are controlled by remote controls, and they fly out there and take a video of everything, and it comes back. So before, you have to pay for the helicopter fuel, you have to pay salary for the videographer guy, you have to pay, you have to pay and buy the video camera, all of those. Now all of those are being replaced by just one tiny machine that is controlled by remote and flies around and takes everything. Which is why now that job of a videographer flying in a helicopter is obsolete. It doesn't exist anymore, right? And now, for example, the world is advanced. The world has advanced so much that earlier in the airports there are human beings waiting at the entrance, at the counter, you know, checking your ticket, checking everything, making sure that everything is correct. Now, if you travel to big cities in Europe or in America, you know, there are no human beings anymore. Everything is done by robots or machines. You know, you use your ticket maybe in India still, in Manipur, in Nagaland, you show your ticket, the security checks your ticket and say, okay, go in. But out there, your ticket, you just scan it in a machine. So there are no people waiting out there. You scan your ticket in the machine and you go in. The gate automatically opens up for you if you scan the ticket there, right? So you can do also. What I'm saying is that now human beings are not required to run things, to do things. So people who were employed to do such things 5-6 years ago are now jobless because their jobs have been replaced by machines, right? By artificial intelligence. And let's talk about right now we have so many waiters, right? We have so many waiters working in cafes and restaurants. Now even in Delhi now, for that matter, let's even leave the Western countries outside. Even in India, in Delhi, you can go order food through a machine. You don't need to order it to a person, to a human being to get your order. You just go to a machine, you swipe, see, okay, which burger you like, which sauce you like, or you know, which flavor do you like. You click everything there, pay online through your card, and then when the order is done, you go and collect it from the counter, you know. So now there's no, even waiters are losing their jobs because all the jobs are being overtaken by robots and by machines, okay. And then there are really the most, how do I say, innovative stores that are coming up in US, in China, in all these developing countries, where shops have no human beings, right? The shops have no human beings, the shops have no staff, they have nobody. Just one store is there, they sell everything. You use your phone, you go inside, you buy your things, you know, you buy everything, you pay online, you come out, right? So now, imagine, in this world, even shopkeepers do not require human beings to man the shops. So that's how advanced the world has become. So in this world right now, if you're thinking, oh, there's one more. Now, I'm sure if you've heard of this company called Tesla, they manufacture cars that drive by itself. Imagine, here, even if you have a car, if you don't have a driver, that car is useless. Even if you want to go somewhere, you have to look for drivers to drive that car. But now Teslas, these are cars that can drive without a driver. They can drive by itself. So right now, if you're thinking that, oh, I want to become a taxi driver, then don't even think about it, because that job will also cease to exist at one point of time, because they'll all be overtaken by driverless cars, right? So these are just, maybe this will take a few more years to really happen. This will take a few more years for it to happen in India or in other parts of the country, but it will happen. The time will come when all of these jobs that I've mentioned will be replaced by machines. If you are neither uneducated, neither skilled, then you will not be able to survive. Because right now, if you drop out of school, if you drop out of college, you can still become a waiter, you can still become a driver. But at some point of time, you will not be able to become even that, right? Because machines will be doing that job for you. So now it has become so important that you have certain skills in order to survive. You either become really smart in your studies, like I said before, and become a doctor, engineer, or an officer, or if you're not interested in studies, if you're not interested in doing things, in studying, then you have to inculcate in some skills. You have to have some skills. If you don't have the skills, then you will not be able to keep up with the world. You will not be able to keep up with the progress of the world, right? So I'm going to talk about these skills now. So one of the most common skill I would say is let's start with photography, right? Nowadays photography has become a very serious profession. It's not only about leisure, but it's a serious profession. You know, like what I'm trying to say is that machines will never be able to become photographers because they cannot perceive like the human mind. They cannot perceive what beauty is, they cannot perceive the emotions of the person and will not be able to take pictures of that. So photography is one skill that machines will never be able to overtake, right? So if you are good in photography, then you can make a living out of it, right? So for example, let's say right now I have a cousin who is good in photography, right? So he was never interested in becoming studying further. He was never interested in becoming a doctor, engineer. You know, he always was interested in photography. So now he has taken up photography as his profession. He goes and shoots for weddings. He goes and shoots for events, for, you know, things like that, and he earns a decent amount of money. A decent amount of money to live comfortably, to live decently, right? And that's because he inculcated his skills in photography, and now he's using that skill to earn money. So that is one skill that you can learn, that you can inculcate. The other also would be videography, right? It's the same thing, like I said before. The robots, the machines will not be able to take videograph of people's emotions. They will not know when a person is crying or smiling because he doesn't have a mind. And no matter how advanced the world is, machines will never be able to reach that level, right? So if you're good in videography, then you can become a wedding videographer. You can take videos for albums, you can take videos for movies, any events, right? Then that will become a skill for you, and you can earn money out of that. You can make a career out of it. I have a friend who is a videographer, like I said before, which is the same story for all of us. He studied law because his parents wanted him to become a lawyer. But while he was studying law, he started experimenting with cameras, and he found videography really fun. So he started videographing for small events for his friends and things like that. And he learned from this till he inculcated. He used his spare time to learn from YouTube. You know, took some online courses, and now he's a full-time professional videographer for weddings. So in Delhi, if he goes for a wedding, he charges from 2 lakhs onwards. Imagine, 2 lakhs is earning just by taking videographs for weddings, right? So these are skills that you need to inculcate in the 21st century. And then there's one more, which is one of the most important skills if you are interested in computers. If you're interested in computers, there's a skill that you can learn, which is called coding. Right? So right now, like I said before, every one of you uses a phone, every one of you plays the phone. So when you play a phone, when you play a game, certain commands makes you do certain things. If you click a certain button, the player starts shooting. If you press a certain button, the player starts running. You know, all of this happens. And all of this happens because somebody had made all the codes while developing the game for the audience, right? So that's called coding. Let's say when you have a basic, you have a phone. You have a lot of apps in your phone, right? Let's say you have a lot of you, I'm sure, uses Beauty Plus app, right? So when you use the Beauty Plus app, there are so many filters that you can choose from. If you choose one filter, then your face suddenly brightens up. If you press one filter, there are stars appearing. You know, so those are all done by coders. They have all coded everything, the program, before developing the app. And now we're enjoying all of those just at the press of a button. And this is one of the profession, this is one of the skills that will be in highest demand in the 21st century. So if you are interested in computer, then this is a skill that you need to learn. Okay? And I have so many friends who have learned coding by themselves. They didn't even need to go to a university. They didn't even need to go to an institute. They learned it from YouTube. They started off by just YouTubing and saying, you know, how to code for beginners. And they learn from that. And now they're just for fun, they're developing certain games, they're developing certain apps. So if you're interested in computer, right, this is this is a huge opportunity for you. If you have the skill, for example, let's say you have the skill and you become really good at it, then you will not even need to go for college. With the skills, you can develop games, you can develop apps, and let's say a big company sort of likes your app, likes your game, they'll buy it off for crores of rupees, for lakhs of rupees, right? That's how you make money. Or some companies will see how good you are and they'll offer you a job to come and work for them. And you don't even need to go to college for that. It's just if you're good in computer, interested in coding, then improve yourself by coding and coding and coding, and if you become good, then you make a career out of it, right? So that's coding, C-O-D-I-N-G, coding, okay? Then let's say, you know, we have so many different types of personalities in the world, right? Maybe right now in this audience who's watching this video, there might be people who are really smart. There might be people who are really extroverted, and there might be people who are really introverted. Not everyone can be extroverts and not everyone can be introverts. And if you are extroverts, you know, like, and you like being out there, then content creation is also an option. Nowadays, you know, there's this term called YouTubers. I think one of the most famous most popular YouTuber from Nagaland is the Yatra Kid. I'm sure you heard about him. You know, he started off with just what, 10-15 subscribers. He was just goofing around in his video and people loved it. And that guy he's a very outgoing person, right? So he just does silly stuff, and now his channel is growing, and he's come to Manipur. People pay him to travel and just vlog about his experiences so that he can create exposure for such places, right? So right now he's earning money, he's traveling because of what? Just because he's good in front of the camera and he talks and he makes people laugh, right? That's called content creation. And there are hundreds of thousands of YouTubers who are earning in terms of lakhs every month just by doing this, just by creating content, right? So right now, some of you might be good jokers, might be good stand-up comedians. Maybe you can start, you know, recording yourself and making people laugh, cracking jokes. Who knows? Maybe in a year or two, your subscribers will explode and you'll become a YouTube star, and you might start earning money in terms of lakhs and thousands, right? So that's content creation. And imagine, robots can never do that, right? Robots cannot make you laugh, robots cannot make you cry. They are there to do things efficiently, which is why content creation, for example, is a skill that you need to develop if you want to succeed in life. If you get your fun out of, you know, being out there in the public, making people laugh, socializing with people, then content creation is also one of the skills that you can make a career out of it, right? Then also there's entertainment, which means if you're a good singer, then your life is set. If you're a good singer, then you'll become you can make a career out of it. If you're a good dancer, then you can make a career out of it. If you're a good actor, imagine now, like the most famous, what is that? Dreams Unlimited. Dreams Unlimited. You know, how famous has it become? When it started off, it was they were a nobody. Nobody knew about them. But then, you know, they started acting, they started acting, and then they took videos of the acting, and then they did short skits and everything. They started uploading, and now after, you know, 5-6 years, they've become really popular. They've become really famous. They've traveled the country, they've traveled the world, and they are making a career out of it. You can be one of them as well, right? Now, who knows, you might have a hidden talent of acting, you can have a hidden talent of singing, dancing, all of those, and you can make careers out of this, you know. And then simple, if you're good in baking, if you're good in making food, then you can, I don't know if you've, there's this famous YouTuber which I am addicted to as well. I forgot the name of the channel, but one Chinese lady in one part of China. She lives with her grandfather or grandmother, and then she travels to the forest, makes everything out of her own hands, grows everything out of her own hands, makes food, and then you know, uploads a video, and she has millions of subscribers, and she's earning in terms of millions just by doing that. So look at the possibilities. Maybe you are good in cooking right now, right? Take a video of yourself cooking, in just tutorials of how to cook, what kind of ingredients you put. Or if you're in Mon is a rich culture and history. I was really looking forward to come to Mon and explore that as well, but unfortunately because of the pandemic I couldn't. But hopefully in the years in the coming days, hopefully I'll end up coming there. But like I said, Mon is full of rich in culture and history. You can do educational videos about this, about your long lost culture, about your rich heritage, about the tattoo artists, about the villages that are bordering Myanmar, how you live, things like that. And you can make a career out of it, you can earn money out of it. That passion of yours, you can incentivize it and make money out of it, right? So there's so many possibilities that are out there. If you're good in making food, baking, you can make a career out of it. If you're good in your traditional weaving, you can use that to make a career out of it. So everything is possible in the 21st century. What I want you to understand, what I want you to realize is that, if you're good at something, become so good at it that you start earning money out of it, that you make a career out of it, right? Don't be a jack of all trades and master of none. Just focus on things. And if you are not good in studies and are feeling depressed about it, do not be depressed about it, because everyone has their gifts, everyone has their talent, everyone has their own calling, right? So not everybody can be good in studies. Not everybody can be good in doing things. So if you're good in studies, good for you. Go for it and become an officer, become a big shot. If you're not good in studies, do not be discouraged, because there are so many other things that are possible. There are so many other things that you can do and make a career out of it. Okay, so these are some of the things that I want you to keep in mind as you finish your 12th. As you finish your 12th, if you want to study, if you want to do your further studies, if you want to continue studying your higher studies, and if you are poor and don't have money, do not be discouraged, because there are so many scholarships waiting for you out there. There's one scholarship I forgot to mention. Go to the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Type Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Go to that website. They have a scholarship link. Click there. There are tens and twenties of scholarships will come up. Okay, so there are really many scholarships out there that you can avail and can help you achieve your dream. That is, if you want to continue studying. If you don't want to study, that's fine, right? Inculcate your skills. If you're interested in computers, if you're interested in, just all this computing stuff, learn coding, right? Just go to YouTube and just type coding for beginners, and then learn coding by yourself, right? And then if you are good in, stand-up comedy, if you are good in making people laugh around you, then start honing that skill and become a stand-up comedian. If you are good in baking, if you're good in cooking, invest there. Invest in the skill, and then you can become a good baker, a famous baker. I know a lot of friends who are making a lot of money by baking, by making food and selling. Okay? So one thing that we need to realize in the 21st century is that there is no profession that is small. Dignity of labor is what we need to inculcate right now. Right? Every job, every profession is unique and special, and without that we will not be able to exist, right? So whether it be, like I said, whether it be cooking, whether it be baking, whether it be dancing or content creation, YouTubing, everything is possible. Everything is a career. As long as you're happy about it, as long as you're passionate about it, then you can become all of those, right? So these are some of the things that I want to leave behind with you. If I were there physically in person, we would be interacting right now. I would be taking your questions and answering them. You might be having a lot of questions, a lot of confusion that you want to clear out, and I would have been super happy to answer them. So since we are not able to do that, I will leave my email address, I will leave my my WhatsApp number. You can reach out to me with any queries, you can reach out to me with any kind of doubts that you have, anything. and if I am able to answer them, then I will answer them for you. If I'm not able to answer them, then I will ask around and I will connect you with more people, with other people who are better equipped to answer your questions, right? So I want to do that. So I want to just encourage you to reach out to me with any kind of questions, any kind of queries, and hopefully I'll be able to answer them. Do not be discouraged. Do not be discouraged. Do not be disheartened. The sky is the limit. The world is yours, right? So hopefully in the days to come, when the pandemic gets over, when things get better, then I'll be able to come to Mon and interact with you personally as well. So until then, I hope that this session, I hope that this this interaction, this video recording was useful for you. I'll leave behind the links to the scholarship that I mentioned earlier as well, so that you can research on your own. Reach out to me for any queries regarding applying to the scholarships, what you need to do, how you need to write your essay, how you need to create your CV, everything, right? If you have any doubts, feel free to reach out to me, because these are the only way where we can go up the social ladder, where we can reach a higher level than our parents and our grandparents, right? So thank you so much. I hope you really enjoyed this interview, this interaction, this video recording, and I hope you enjoyed listening to them. And it was my pleasure to be speaking this to you. So until we meet again, all the best and stay safe. Take care, stay safe, and we shall overcome this coronavirus together, right? So all the best and thank you so much. See you soon.